My brother was telling me about a nature documentary he was watching about salmon, and how salmon are born in fresh water and they will swim downstream to the ocean where they'll live for the majority of their lives, and then when they're ready as adults to have children, they will swim upstream back to the freshwater source where they were born to have their children, and that's where they will eventually die. And I thought it was really interesting that they sort of go out into the big, wide, grand, big ocean, and then they return to their roots, to where they were born. And it reminded me of this week's Parsha, which is Parshat Lech Lecha, the third portion in the book of Genesis, where we meet Abraham, one of our forefathers, and the first monotheist. Now, Abraham develops this relationship with God, and God begins to test Abraham. And the first test he gives Abraham is when he tells him that he needs to leave his birthplace, the land that he's always known, everything he's known, and he needs to go out to the place that God's going to tell him. Doesn't tell him where, he just says to the place that I will show you. And this is huge for Abraham, to leave behind everything he's known, the comforts of his home, to go out into the world and to see what is out there and what's waiting for him, what God has for him. And it's interesting because as Jews, I often find us going against the current, just like the fish, returning at the end of their days back to the freshwater source where they were born. We are often going against current trends and whatever is popular in the secular world. When women are wearing miniskirts, we're wearing maxi skirts, and that's just one of many examples of ideas where the world is doing one thing and Jews are going the complete opposite direction. And it's not easy always, because a lot of us are working in the secular world and living in the Jewish world, and it's hard sometimes to be doing what isn't popular or to not be following the latest trends. It's so easy when everybody else seems to be doing it. But as Jews, we have to look at why we do the things we do and why they're important and why they matter. And if we can sort of look at them and understand, why aren't we following the trends of everyone else? You know, why are we staying true to these old and true traditions? And if we can see why those things are important and why they matter, it makes it a little easier. And there's also an idea of standing up for what's right. Abraham, his father was an idolatrous man. He had idols. He was the only monotheist. Everyone else believed in multiple gods or in idols, and he was the only one who stood up there and said, you know what? I know what's right. There's only one creator. There's one God, and he made this world and everything in it. Now, that's got to be really tough to be the only person sort of in the world who has this belief and who thinks he knows what's right. But if he, as one man, could stand up against the world and decide that this is what's right and I'm going to go this way, if he could go against the current of everyone, then shouldn't it be easier when we have all these other Jews to help us, to support us, to stand up for us, and to guide us in our decisions to stand up for what's correct? It should be much easier for us. And we have this support system, and we have this network of other Jewish people. You know, the fish don't usually swim alone. They usually swim in these big groups of fish. They go together. And the Jews are going together. We might be going against the current, but hopefully we're going together. And what I hope is that we can all find ways in our lives and things that we can do to stand up for what is correct, even when it is not popular. I wish you all a wonderful week and a Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.